Hey guys, this is your guide Luthais, and yes, welcome back. Today I am bringing you a complete transportation guide for 2019. And yes, we're going to start with a bit of tips. Now, this guide took me quite a bit more time than what I thought it would, and that is because diesel or your jerry cans is a much bigger issue than it was in the past, which I quite like. Makes it a bit more realistic. And the one tip that I can give you guys is to use the gas pumps. As soon as you fill a vehicle, you will still keep the jerry can, but it will be empty. But you can go to gas stations and fill the jerry can up by the gas stations, okay, which will help you quite a bit. Of course, depending on the vehicle you use, like for instance, if you use a quad, it won't take as much as much fuel to fill up. But if you use a very big truck, you're gonna have to fill up quite a few jerry cans to get it to maximum. And of course, the vehicles are using more fuel than what they did in the past. So yes, please focus on that. You don't want to go be stranded in the middle of nowhere without gas, okay? The other tip that I've got for you guys is basically normally a vehicle blew up when you moved away from it. But what I did in this test is I removed the parts before I moved away from the vehicle. So I don't know if it will always work, but yes, a very nice tip for you guys is to first remove all the parts from the vehicle before you move away from it. And using this tactic, I could of course spare the vehicle and not lose all the loot that I had inside. Now, the first part of the transportation guide is running around, guys, which in my experience is the best way to explore the island and to experience this beautiful scenery that we have around us with the different weather patterns. And yes, your legs will always be your primary transportation system, and I implore you guys to really try and explore the island as much as possible, to work out shortcuts and just to experience how beautiful Orca Island can be, instead of just sitting in a vehicle constantly. Now, number one is the bicycle. We've got some good suspension on it, and yes, falls over quite quickly. Now, negatives with the bicycle is the handling is not great. I think they have to change the leaning angles of the bicycles before it becomes less frustrating. Another negative thing is it's very slow when it comes to uphills. But as I will demonstrate for you guys, it's quite fun when you're going down downhills. And yes, when you're driving on a level surface, then it's definitely faster than running. But again, when you're on an uphill, it's not that good. And as you can see, it goes nice and silent when you're freeing down a hill. So yes, it can be a lot of fun, but just remember, you're in the open. You can't put any loot in it, and this is the most basic way of traveling a bit quicker than what you can run. Then of course we've got the dirt bike, which handling mechanics are more or less like the bicycle, but it's a lot more fun. Okay, speed is very nice, and you can really play around with it in various aspects. I always love trying different ramps and stuff when I'm sitting with a quad or a bike. But yes, it's very positive. It's very easy to build up. It only takes a battery and a drive belt, and then your jerry cans or your oil, and then of course it's got a ramping mechanic. So if you press the shift button, it gives you a bit of a boost, which is also a lot of fun and helps you of course with uphills. And yes, again, when you're on a downhill and you're using the shift key, you can really build up some speed. And yes, Like I say, the handling needs a bit of tweaking, but still a very fun option, guys. But again, you can't put any loot in it. Now, my favorite one out of all of them, as you guys would know, is the quad. And the best thing for me about the quad is the balance that it has, its speed, and of course its maneuverability. You can go anywhere with a quad and you can try anything. So it's definitely the most fun option that I've ever experienced in Miscreated, because you won't really get frustrated if you tip the quad or get into a sticky situation, because the quad is very easy to flip, and like I say, it can go anywhere. And again, you can have a lot of fun with it. It's very strong on uphills or up a mountain, and yes, very quick, very zippy, and in my personal opinion, definitely the vehicle to have. And of course, if you want to hide it in a base, it's very easy. You don't need a lot of space for it, so you can protect it very easily. And of course, the negative side again is you're open. Okay, like you see, I'm playing around with ramps, seeing which ramps I can use. And yes, the only negative thing is that you're in the open. So if the guy's in line with you, in front of you or behind you, he can kill you quite easily, which is, in my opinion, the only negative side about the vehicle. And you can't kill mutants or brutes with the quad, so that will be the other downside. But like I say, you can go crazy with it, because flipping it over is very easy. And of course, if the guy isn't in line with you, it's going to be very difficult for him to get a clear shot on you, since you're moving so quickly. And like I've said, uphills are no problem, guys, which is a problem for most vehicles, but for the quad especially, you can climb a mountain with maximum ease. Now, the two useless vehicles, in my opinion, not useless, they are still fun, but very slow, and again open, so you can die in them, but they haven't got the speed to really justify being open, is the cart, which you can get at the airport, and you can sit two guys in front and one at the back. And yes, a nice starting vehicle if you want to search for other vehicles or just have some kind of transportation. And then the second one is the tractor. Now, the tractor is a bit more fun for me than the cart, because of the sound and the comical side of it. But again, it is open and you can get killed quite easily. But still, if you're a farming fan, then this is a nice addition to add to your base. And of course, like I've said, it is quite a bit of fun. And you can even use it for raiding, because the roof is quite high. So you just jump onto the bonnet and then you jump onto the roof, and then at least you can skip the first layer of the base. As you can see, I jumped off to get the last wheel, and yep, it just glitched out on me. So yes, struggled a bit with this one. I probably looked for the tractor for about 3 hours, and got it upright again after about a half an hour of struggling. And then the fourth wheel did disappear, and then when I wanted to use the factory to get the last wheel again, because I would have liked to see it stop speed, it did the same thing again, guys. and I just gave up. Okay, so in my personal opinion, try and stay away from the tractor or the cart, because it is slow and it is open. Now, one of the first additions to Miscreated is the pickup truck, and yes, very nice vehicle. It's got the speed. You can, of course, transport the standard goods that you would in any vehicle. I think it's got about 10 slots which you can transport things in, which is the same for all vehicles. You can sit 2 guys at the back, and then you can sit 2 guys at the front. So it's a nice vehicle for a clan of 4. And like I say, it's got good speed, looks nice, and of course, again, it's a heck of a lot of fun, and it feels really great driving. I prefer the pickup truck's handling to the sedan. And yes, in the beginning of the game, it was definitely one of my favorite vehicles, and definitely a good option if you're looking for something to drive around with. Then we've got the most common one is the sedan, which you can get in various different colors. And speed wise, it's a very good option. At the moment, the handling is a bit sudden. So yes, you're really going to have to focus on your steering when driving one of these, because they have got a lot of speed. Of course, they can take 4 people, and they've got the 10 slots for you to put your loot inside. So again, a very nice option, and definitely faster than the pickup truck. So if speed is something that you're focusing on with a combination of protection, then this is definitely a good option. Of course, you can put the lights on, you can use the hooter to notify people you're coming. And yes, in the middle of Miscreated's development, this was definitely the most commonly used vehicle. And that was not on purpose, guys, but it's, yes, glad to know that you don't die doing that immediately, although you should. Then the best version of the sedan is, of course, the police vehicle. And the positive sides about the police vehicle is that it's got a lot of protection. So it's a bit more difficult to damage it than the other sedans. And of course, it's got like bulletproof glass or something, so you need a high caliber rifle to kill someone inside of the police vehicle. And then it's got the sirens as well, you know, for some role playing, and just for, again, just to have a bit of fun and let the guys know you're coming. Some bragging rights if you've got the police vehicle. And it is one of the fastest vehicles in the game, if not the fastest. So definitely a good option for a clan to have maximum protection. And of course, we've got the SUV as well. Now, the SUV spawns are very limited, so it's not that easy to find an SUV. But one thing I love about the SUV is the handling. It's got nice suspension, as a 4x4 should have. And yes, definitely a pleasure to drive. It's a bit more upmarket inside with the sunroof and everything. So yes, if you find one of these, it's definitely a pleasure to build up. And its height is nice as well, so that you can at least get to the second level of a base if you want to raid it, and you don't have to go through the first layer. Like I said, on the inside it looks nice and luxurious, and yes, definitely a prize to have. And again, the handling is one of the things that I find most positive about it, because with the suspension and the smooth turning mechanics, in my opinion, it's one of the smoothest and one of the most pleasurable vehicles to drive. And of course, you get various colors, and of course, if you drive around enough, you can get skins and apply it with various skins that you get awarded. And then my little beast, definitely my favorite vehicle on 4 wheels, which again you can put the loot inside, is the buggy. Now, I did say that the SUV has the best control overall on a road, but when it comes to bundu bashing and driving around in the forests or on unlevel ground, then your buggy will definitely be your best option. I've never flipped a buggy, and yes, its handling is definitely really nice. And of course, it's another great plaything again. Just like the quad, you can really fool around a lot. And like I say, it's really smooth. The turning mechanics are nice as well. And of course, yes, the back of the buggy is high enough that you can use it as a raiding tool if you want to. But again, 2 in the front and then 1 at the back. Okay, so it can house 3 players. And sitting at the back is a whole lot of fun. And you never know, maybe later in the game, you know, they might allow the top guy to shoot. We never know. But for now, it's definitely my favorite vehicle on 4 wheels. And next to the quad, definitely one of my favorite playthings. And a very, very nice vehicle to have, and some bragging rights. And then the big dog of them all, guys. The favorite vehicle for large clans is the armor truck. Now you get the army version, and then you get the black police SWAT version. And this vehicle is fantastic because with the other vehicles, you're going to sustain damage when you drive over mutants, and you're going to sustain or probably blow up your vehicle if you try and kill a brute. But with this vehicle, it's the tank of Miscreated. You go over mutants without even feeling it, and just 2 bumps to a brute kills it. So it's definitely a demolition vehicle, has a ton of armor, so it's a great option for clans, and definitely one of the most powerful vehicles that you can get in Miscreated. And combined with the speed and the handling and the capacity, of course it's got the standard 10 slots, but 2 people can sit in the front and 4 people can sit at the back, which makes it a great option for a clan of 6. And of course all of you are protected. Okay, so as soon as you get into a PvP situation, you can just drive into some cover and all of you can jump out at the same time. So when it comes to PvP, this is about the best option there is. And yes, when I play with clans, this is definitely our first option, to have the best protection and to navigate our way through the map as fast as possible. And as I will demonstrate to you, when you run over a mutant, you can hardly ever feel it. And of course you guys can test it for yourself. 2 hits and a brute's dead. This is of course the SWAT vehicle. Now like I say, getting all these vehicles took me a bit of time, but yes, I didn't build this one up, guys, but the handling, it's exactly the same. It's just the SWAT version and it's black. And now we move to the 2 raiding vehicles. And what I mean by that is the 5-ton truck is definitely the best option when raiding is your main focus, because of the height of the back of the truck. When you are on the back of the truck and you use maybe a tire or a jerry can, then you can easily get to the 3rd floor of a base, which enables you to skip the first 2 floors and get into a base much quicker. Again, it's got the light at the back, and I haven't tested the maximum capacity of it, but 2 can sit in the front, and I'm not totally sure, but I think it's 6 to 8 players that can sit at the back. And of course its speed and handling is a great option, but again, when it comes to armor, people will be able to blow up this vehicle much quicker than they'll be able to blow up the armor truck, which you'll have to take into consideration. And then the last big boy and the newest addition to Miscreated is of course the large truck. And yes, it will look really cool if we can add a trailer to this truck, but guys, as you can see, it is really slow. Okay, probably one of the slowest vehicles when it comes to an uphill. It's really big, quite difficult to handle, especially around turns, so you can get stuck quite easily. And as you saw in the beginning, you can flip it quite easily. Okay, but for a small squad like a single player or a co-op group, you can jump onto the top, onto the roof of this truck, and it will help for a raiding option as well. And now guys, to get to the end of this video, we get to the relaxation part. Okay, if you're a person like me that just loves the atmosphere and loves exploring Miscreated and just chilling a bit, then the boat is definitely a good option for you. Again, takes less parts than the other vehicles, and of course the trucks takes 2 extra wheels. Okay, so that's a bit of extra looting that you have to do there. But when it comes to relaxing, I love to just climb into a boat. Again, just takes the fuel and the oil, and then it takes a battery and a drive belt. Okay, so you don't have to look for the spark plugs. And as you can see, really peaceful, and you can loot everything that's on the shores, so everything that's against the river and right around the map. Okay, and again, you can't get it stuck because you can just push it to get it to where it wants to go. So yes, it can take 4 people, although again it is open, it is not very fast. So I would suggest you use this just to relax a bit, maybe as a solo player or with a friend, because yeah, if someone with the AT or sniper rifles gets you in their sights, the chances that you are going to die are really good. But as you can see, the handling is nice, and it's a really relaxing option to use, and just try and enjoy yourself as much as possible. Okay guys, the final option is of course the most tactical vehicle in the game, and the reason why I say this is the jet ski is by far the most versatile, within that you can push it anywhere you want, and then it's the fastest vehicle on water. Now it is a lot of fun, it is a nice plaything, but what I want you to think about is getting in and out of hotspots. So the reason I use the jet ski is first of all to get to Hayward Valley really quickly and the ship in the docks, and then I love to use the jet ski to get to the new bunker and the new radiation zone as quickly as possible. The reasons for this is, especially with the radiation zone and the new bunker, I can get to the shore without anyone hearing me coming, like with the vehicle for instance. And there's a lot of places to park near Hayward Valley where the guys can't hear me coming either. And of course I can get back to the south of the map as quickly as possible. Okay, so tactically definitely the best option. And yes, 2 guys can sit on this, so it's a really nice option for, again, co-op gameplay, and you guys can get into those hot spots really quickly without being detected. Now guys, I'm busy with the building video part 2. It's taking me quite a bit of time, so just be patient. And if you're new to the channel and you'd like to see future content, just click that subscribe button and click that bell button to be notified of future content. And yes, I hope I motivate you guys to get into those hoarding bases, you know, and to explore the vehicles for yourselves. This is Luthais, and as always guys, just have fun and experience the game to the max.